Alright, so this thing is not working. Apparently it's got a gas leak, apparently, but it's got nothing at the controller. Circuit breaker's on, nothing displaying at the controller. So first we'll find out why that is, and then we'll go from there. Oh, it's because the isolator's off. That makes sense. Alrighty. Alright, so basically I've checked out the filters, they're dirty, so I need to get them replaced. I've just left it out for now. I went downstairs and the controller is on, and put it down to 16 degrees and it should be running. So we'll check it out. The compressor should be running. What do we need? No wiring diagram here, so we're just going off experience, I guess. We have 240 volts, 240 volts, 240 volts. We have 3-phase. Obviously the fan's running. It's still start from the start. Do we have 240 at this control transformer? Which we do. We have 240 volts. Do we have 24 volts AC? Yes, we do. 24 volts AC. So that just goes down to here. The common and hot. Yeah. 24 volts AC. So that means we should have, that goes down to this, which supplies the board. That supplies the controller. The controller should be sending a call up to, or comp, because it's definitely hotter than 16 degrees, which it is. So why isn't that running? Interesting. Alright, so that is saying that that should be pulling in, so it should have 240 volts. Oh, actually, what am I doing? Neutral, 240, 240, alright, so what's going on? So it's sending power. Time delay, which has been way more than 5 minutes. Alright, so it should have power. So 2 is just a neutral. There's no power there, but if there's power... Okay. So there's power going into that 5-minute time delay. But there's no neutral, so Alright, so I just googled the OPA 260RA temper zone wiring diagram, and the neutral that comes out of that is your HP and LP, so it actually is out on HP and LP. Alrighty, so I don't want to be, I hate these things. You can't really get your terminal in there. I don't want to be fucking around with it when there's power there. But I just, off camera, I just did this, pushed that in. There's literally no fucking gas in this thing. And it's 2-stage, but it's like shared circuit, so just needs a nitro test. Okie dokie. It's official. The first people were right. I don't know, they got a second opinion. They didn't trust them, but they'll tell them the truth, mate. Got to turn this power off and put that all back together, but I don't know what the go is, because like I'm just here for a second opinion. I'll have to go get I need to go and like get approval to actually work on this thing, but yeah, she's got no gas. Alright, so I'm back here to pressure test this unit and try to find where the leak is. So I've spoken to the landlord. Basically, he just wants me to try and find where the leak is, and then we can weigh up then whether it's worth repairing or whatever. So it's 2 days later. I've come back with some nitro. I'm going to pressure test it, try to find where it's leaking and go from there. But I can already tell you he's definitely thinking more towards the repair as opposed to replacing the whole thing, which you know, doesn't surprise me. Everyone always wants the cheapest option. So anyway, let's get this thing pressurized and we'll try to find where it's leaking. Alright, so I just started putting nitro in this and only got like 700 kPa in, which is not much, and I can hear it absolutely roaring out. So I need to get a mirror in there and find out exactly where it's leaking, so I'll do that now. But yeah, that was pretty easy to find. It's not the easiest to fix because it's on that side, but anyway, we found it. Alright, so I just stuck my head in there with a torch and my mirror, and it is leaking right, I'm pretty sure it's leaking right where that capillary tube goes straight into that 3/4 pipe down the bottom. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to clean it up a bit, just get the MAP gas in there and try to just heat up that little section, put some solder on, and see if I can do it that way. If I'm struggling, I might just get the oxyacetylene up here and just replace that whole reversing valve. Yeah, I mean it's bloody old. So yeah, so basically that's my thinking. I'm busy. I've got so much work to do, and my phone, like, I'm just getting quotes accepted and jobs coming in left, right, and centre. I honestly don't have much time to do anything nowadays. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to get the MAP gas up here just because it's easy to get into this section. Try to dab some, like, clean it up, dab some solder in around the capillary tube, and then pressurise it to 3,500 kPa, see if that works. If it doesn't, then I'm just going to call it, pack up, get out of here, come back with the reversing valve and change the whole thing. That's the plan. Alright, so I just went to Actrol to get some gas, and whilst I was there I just bought this thing. I'm working up on a roof and I didn't want to lag my D-size oxyacetylene bottles up. I could, like, it's not that hard, but you know, working up an extension ladder and whatever, I decided just to work smarter. So I just went, whilst I was at Actrol, went and got that. So I'm going to try and patch this hole now, and then obviously pressure test it and see if it works. So I've never owned one of these before, but for roof work could be pretty handy. Alright, so it took me a bit to get used to this, to be honest, but it definitely worked and it definitely got me out of trouble. So I think moving forward, you know, I'll always be using my oxyacetylene. I'm used to it, I like it, but for any roof work I'll definitely be using this. So you've got different nozzles. I was using the smallest one, so I think for different type of work I'll be changing that, but no, it definitely got me out of trouble, so that's awesome. And I got that from Actrol, so not bad. Alright, so I have nitro tested this and it is maintaining pressure. I've sprayed Big Blue all over it. I've left it for a while and yeah, it's good. Plus you can't hear it. But yeah, it's definitely not leaking. However, that is leaking and that the Schroeder valves are leaking, so I'm going to take the nitro out, put some new pins in and get this on vac. So let's do that now, and then I've got to find out how much gas this normally takes. She's a big girl, so probably a lot. Alright, so I'm ready to vac, but what I did was off camera because just in a bit of a rush. This show down here on the discharge pipe, like the actual thread it's like cross-threaded, so you can't really get your gauge onto it. So I've replaced the Schroeder pin, so it's not leaking anymore. I've also replaced the Schroeder pin for the suction, but I've put a new Schroeder point on the discharge because that thread is cooked, so I put a new one on. Now what I did was I put it on the underside when it still had pressure in it. I put a hole in the bottom, and then once the nitro was out, put my vacuum on it, cleaned up the pipe, put the Schroeder on. It's good to go. So got a new discharge Schroeder point. Anyway, I'm gonna put this on vac. Alright, so I just ran that I don't know, 20 minutes or something, and it's still on 3 bars, and it was running. Yeah, I got it down to like 340 microns, and then I stopped it. Like, I've just been letting it sit, and it's like 120 microns. So, like, honestly, I'm stoked with this thing, eh? Because I'm working a long way away from a PowerPoint, GPO, and in the past I got a lead that I just hardwire, whatever you want to call it, but it's so much easier just to do that. So this thing's a weapon. Absolute beast, dude. Alright, I'm gonna let it sit for a bit. I'm gonna gas it up. So I've ordered 2 custom filters, and when I come back to put them in, grease this up with that grease nipple. But basically the story is, I was maintaining this for ages, for years, and then some new mob moved in and they got their own person, and it's like through the NDIS, and apparently the NDIS, like, they pay their people pretty poorly, so I don't think these guys are doing much. I've read their service report and yeah, they weren't doing much, but like, that's not me having a dig. Like, I don't think they get paid enough to do anything, so like, why would you? But anyway, this thing's been neglected for a while, so new filters, grease that, but everything there looks sweet as. Everything needs maintenance. Alright, that's just been sitting whilst I've been sussing out the fan. Still 120 microns. This thing's good to go. Alright, so just gassing it up now. Next 6.3 kilos. Everything has gone honestly perfectly, except I have made one mistake. I'm not gonna lie. So, as I said, the discharge pipe in there, coming off the bottom of the reversing valve, the thread on it was like cross-threaded. So that, I just was like, you know what, I'm going to put one on the discharge pipe, just a different one. But I've just realised that's actually the suction pipe. I just wasn't thinking, and what led me to think that is because that one's not insulated and it looks a lot smaller than the suction, which is insulated, but it's actually not. The discharge is hidden, it's just there. So I've now got more than one point on the suction, which is fine, not a problem. So I'm going to go and try find a different discharge point, which I think there is on the other side. It's all good, but yeah, that is a mistake. So before I turn it on, I also just got to put the reversing valve coil back on and plug it in. Anyway, so I'm going to gas it up, turn it on, and then run it to get it at 8K superheat. .3 kilos. I'll go turn that on now. Alright, this thing's all done, working, so I've just left some new caps on it. This thing's running at 8K. Discharge pipe temp's very low. And she's sweating like a gypsy with a mortgage. So I'm going to go get some supply temps. But yeah, the pressures and superheat are done. Obviously I need to close this now, but I just wanted to get that. Alrighty. That's me done. That is me done.